Staying with the conflict now, the Israeli ambassador to the UK says London now feels less safe for Jews than Israel. Tzipi Hotovely says the Jewish community feel fear at the jihad ideology expressed during pro-Palestinian protests over the last month. She pointed out that the first protest took place while Israeli soldiers were still retrieving bodies from the attack at the Nova Music Festival. This afternoon, Rishi Sunak called the pro-Palestine demonstrations planned for Remembrance Weekend provocative and disrespectful, saying that he feared war memorials could be desecrated. Meanwhile, more chilling reports of anti-Semitism in the UK have emerged, including offensive graffiti of swastikas and death threats found in the bathroom of a girls' private school in North London. I think that's the... how does it actually get into the bathrooms in this girls' private school in North London?
To put it very quickly, this has become a fashionable ideology, and there are enemies of the West who have been working on making it so for a long time. And what's so astonishing is I don't remember anybody taking to the streets when Saudi Arabia were bombing Yemen. I don't remember anyone taking to the streets when Boko Haram were kidnapping girls in northern Nigeria. But this, all of a sudden, is massively. On this scale, it's become a fashionable ideology.
I think it has to an extent, but I think that there are more concerning things. If, for example, you do go around North London, you will see, as one of my colleagues said this picture from today, walking to work. Jewish Stars of David put on walls indicating Jewish people are here. And I think that if you are Jewish and if you are in the UK, it is increasingly concerning as to what's going on. Because I think a lot of the calls for whether it's a ceasefire and all this sort of business is kind of wrapped up with this underbelly of anti-Semitism which has existed, which is the reason that Jeremy Corbyn is no longer leader of the Labour Party, which is the leader that he's the reason that he's no longer part of it, that there is a significant part of the political I suppose, groupings, if you like, extremities that have for many years wanted to have a go at Israel, at Jewish people, and have not been able to or not had the reason. And they've now found a way to do it.
It's about the underdog. It's about a sort of a natural human inclination, isn't it, to actually support the underdog. And I think for quite some time, there has been this feeling that the Palestinians are the underdog. I mean, look how many of them are refugees in other countries, for example, Lebanon has so many Palestinian refugees, and that there is this feeling that they have been persecuted.
Back to the... I want to say racism to Jewish people rather than anti-Semitism, because, as I've said before, anti-Semitism is Hebrew, Arabic, Aramaic speakers. Some of my closest friends are Hasidic Jews. They dress in Orthodox. They get abused on the streets. At the schools, this isn't a recent thing because of the conflict in Gaza and Israel. Their schools have to have security guards at all times, and it's horrendous. But this has been going on for decades. This is not a new thing. Of course, the attacks on them has gone up recently because of the problems in Israel and Gaza, but this has been happening forever. This country doesn't want to admit that there's racism and that we have a racism problem in this country.
But you're absolutely right. And it used to be as silly as things like, for example, if you wanted to join a golf club, like my grandfather did, it wasn't that you were told no, it's just that you weren't accepted.
But now it's so blatant because you've got people on social media, you've got people, the keyboard warriors that will make sure that they're othering other people, will make sure that they say things and they say comments about how they're not, this area doesn't look like it did before. And I don't know why I'm seeing these people here. There's so much othering going on of other communities. And, there's people that fuel that fuel that fire, that fuel that hate. And I agree with you that it's racism, it's anti-Semitism, it's Islamophobia, it's all of it. And it's been going on for years, for decades. We don't like to admit that we have a problem with racism and anti-Semitism. There is no place for it. No place for anti-Semitism anywhere. No place for racism anywhere. No place for Islamophobia anywhere. No place for othering anywhere. But it happens so much. And we are seeing a manifestation of it with swastikas in girls' toilets.
But we're also seeing...
disgraceful. But people need to take responsibility for the words that they use.
Yes.
Whether that's on social media, whether that's, if they have a platform,
if you
it has to be done.
What is being preached, particularly in some mosques up and down the country, it is the most horrible rhetoric which is driving some communities to either see themselves apart or to use this as a excuse to make all sorts of comments and then to go and do those keyboard activities and to fuel it. And I think that we have to look to all our religious leaders.
Absolutely.
To
But
pull
not just our leaders, it's all of us.
Yeah, it's not just religion. Whether we're targeting immigrants in hotels, whether we're saying that this part of the country isn't what it used to be, that's not in mosques. That's English people saying this isn't England anymore. There's too many different languages. As I said, my Hasidic friends, they speak in Hebrew to each other.
Yeah.
I have no issue with that. In Hackney, we have the Turkish community, the black community, and the Jewish community working together to make sure that our community is safe.
Yeah.
That's what the whole country needs. Othering people is only going to make things worse.
And we don't need that at all.